Hi, this is a list of the most common anti-intellectual property or anti-copyright arguments that I've heard, and of course my responses to them. Please correct me if you think I'm wrong or you have something in disagreement. I do want to hear from you. The first one is it doesn't hurt anybody. This is very easy to respond to because, first of all, who gets to define what is harm? But even if we did agree on what is harm, I think most people would agree that stealing doesn't always hurt people either. So if it doesn't hurt and harm somebody, does that make it right and okay and legal? Secondly, the second argument is it's a non-scarce resource. The argument is, well, unlike oil and water and land, there's no limit as to how much you can copy information. This is true. However, not all information are equal. Sorry, I wanted to save that line for last, but literally, not all information are equal, and some information are more valuable than others. With that said, some information has market value, and the uniqueness, the market value of it is scarce. Otherwise, you wouldn't be copying it for your advantage if it was not worth something to you. So the concept that it's a non-scarce resource is completely irrelevant. Whether something is scarce, whether something is rare, or whether somebody can afford to give something to you has nothing to do with whether you have a right to it. If it is not yours, it is not yours. I mean, to disagree with this would be denying property altogether. Just because somebody can afford to feed me and get nothing in return doesn't mean it is my entitlement to have it. The third argument is I never agreed to follow copyright laws, so therefore I'm not subject to it. This is absurd because you didn't agree to follow traffic laws or anti-murder laws or anti-theft laws either. Why are you subject to those? You do not get to pick what laws you want to follow. You are subject to laws as long as they exist, whether you agree with them or not. You're free to disagree with them, but when you're in a court, when you're caught doing something that is illegal, you'll have to defend yourself, and good luck. Number 4 is it violates private property to enforce intellectual property or copyright laws. This again is a complete misunderstanding of the concepts of property, or maybe I should say I and you and the whole society generally doesn't have a simple agreement on what is property or what is intellectual property. The argument here is that if a person has a book, the understanding is he owns this book. Now, why shouldn't he do as he pleases if he owns this book? The same argument could be made that if I purchased my car, does that mean I can speed and drive it anytime, anywhere I wish? Obviously not. Just because I own a gun does not mean I'm not subject to the gun laws. So, property is not absolute, first of all. Secondly, there is no non-utopian world that private property is in any way absolute, consistent, and unconditional. Private property always comes with at least the respect for the greater society as to whether your property infringes on another. And in the case of intellectual property, it is to protect a person's work from being misused. Let's put it that way, make it simple. So intellectual property may appear to violate what you consider as private property, but it protects another person's. Number 5 is it's mine, I can do whatever I want with it, and this is basically the same argument, which basically says if I have something, don't tell me what to do. It's BS. Number 6 is a labor theory of value does not account for the value of ideas or intellectual property. I agree. I don't like labor theory of value at all. And the value of an idea or intellectual property or invention is, in fact, market determined. Because if it wasn't, you wouldn't be copying it. You obviously copy and utilize something because it is of some worth and utility to you. So the fact you are willing to do something to obtain something means it's worth at least something to you. You might not want to pay $20 to listen to a song, but you are willing to spend 5 minutes copying it. Of course, there's a lot of things you would rather not pay for. So the idea that just because something isn't valued by labor theory of value is really irrelevant. What something is worth as an idea or intellectual property does not matter as to whether it is owned by somebody.